bet you it hurt so bad. The cowboy froze, then whispered, "It'll be quick." 7 stretched across the sky, painting the desert in harsh streaks of gold and crimson. The wind blew hot and dry, carrying fine grains of red sand that cut across the canyon cliffs like invisible knives. Ryder Calhoun rode alone, his mechanical horse's hooves clanging against the rocky ground. Its metal frame gleamed in the sunlight, pistons hissing as it carried him over the barren wasteland. Ryder was a cowboy of a different kind. No leather hat or old boots from earth, but a wide-brimmed synthetic visor to shield his eyes, and boots with magnetic soles that could anchor him to almost any surface. His long coat flapped behind him, tattered at the edges, carrying the smell of dust, machine oil, and distant stars. He had been riding for hours, following an old, faded star map etched into his wrist device. The map led to a canyon known among spacers as the Silent Spire. Few dared enter this place. Rumors spoke of ancient alien technology left behind by a civilization long gone, but Ryder had no choice. His next contract demanded he find something buried deep within this desert, a crystal of unknown origin that could hold immense energy. Ryder's eyes narrowed as he scanned the horizon. Sand shifted like waves, and distant cliffs rose like jagged teeth. Then amid the dunes, a faint glimmer caught his eye. At first he thought it was a reflection from the sun, but as he drew closer he saw a small figure lying on the ground. The figure was hunched, shivering, wrapped in a thin cloak that barely protected them from the harsh sun. Ryder slowed his horse, careful not to startle whoever or whatever was lying there. As he approached, the figure lifted a hand weakly, shielding their eyes from the light. "Please," a soft voice called. It was faint, almost swallowed by the wind. Ryder stopped his horse a few meters away, studying the figure. They were not human. Their skin was pale lavender, and their large eyes shimmered like liquid silver. A small crystal was embedded in their forearm, glowing faintly with a soft, pulsating light. Around the edges, the skin was tinged with a faint shimmer of energy, as if the crystal had fused with their body. Ryder swallowed. He had dealt with many alien species in his travels, but he had never seen one like this, and the crystal, whatever it was, looked dangerous, though it didn't feel aggressive. "Hey," Ryder said slowly, keeping his voice calm. "You okay?" The alien's eyes widened, and they clutched the crystal tightly. It hurts so bad," they whispered, voice breaking. "I don't know how much longer I can... Please." Ryder felt a tightness in his chest. He was a cowboy, yes, but he had always hated seeing anyone in pain, human or alien. He dismounted, letting his mechanical horse lower to the ground. The creature flinched at the movement, but Ryder knelt a safe distance away, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. "It'll be quick," Ryder whispered, more to himself than to the alien. He didn't yet know how, but he had a way to help. He pulled a small handheld device from his coat. It was a sleek, black cylinder with a glowing interface. Ryder had bought it from a spacer tech merchant years ago, told it could extract alien energy safely. He had never used it. Today he would. The alien's eyes widened even more. What is that?" "Don't," Ryder raised a hand gently. "It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you. Just to help." The creature trembled, and Ryder could see their breathing shallow, uneven. The crystal's glow pulsed faster, and the air around them seemed to shimmer. Ryder realized the crystal was reacting to their fear and pain. He had to move carefully. "Name?" he asked softly. "Lyra," the alien whispered, almost breaking. "Please." "It's too much." Ryder nodded. "I know. I'll help, Lyra. Just stay still." The mechanical device buzzed quietly in his hand. He moved closer, careful not to touch Lyra. With a soft hum, the device projected a gentle light, enveloping the crystal in a glowing cocoon. Ryder could feel the energy vibrating through the air, like the heartbeat of the planet itself. "Does it hurt?" Lyra asked, voice barely audible. "Not if we do it right," Ryder replied, focusing on keeping the device stable. "Just breathe, okay?" Ryder adjusted the device, aligning it perfectly with the crystal. Slowly, the pulsing light began to slow, the edges of the crystal shimmering less violently. Ryder could feel the tension drain from Lyra's body. "You're helping?" Lyra asked, disbelief in their voice. "Yes," Ryder said, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "Just like a cowboy helps his horse when it's stuck." "You're safe now." For a few moments, only the wind whispered across the canyon. The twin suns cast long shadows, and Ryder kept his eyes on the device. Then, slowly, the crystal lifted from Lyra's arm, floating gently into the device's containment field. Lyra gasped, but did not cry out in pain. Ryder exhaled quietly, relief washing over him. "You did it," Lyra said, still weak, still trembling. I thought it would never leave." Ryder stood, brushing dust off his coat. "Nothing lasts forever, Lyra. Not pain, not fear. We just have to hold on long enough to let it pass." Lyra's silver eyes met his. For a brief moment, Ryder saw something that looked like hope. Something fragile, but real. "Thank you," Lyra whispered. I don't know how to repay you." Ryder shrugged, a grin flickering.
"You don't need to. Just survive."
"That's all I ask." They stayed in silence for a while, listening to the desert's quiet hum. The canyon walls seemed less threatening now, the red sand less hostile. Ryder felt a strange connection to this alien, a bond forged in shared vulnerability rather than violence or battle. "I'm not gonna lie," Ryder said finally. "This place is tricky. The canyon is full of old tech, old traps, and time weirdness. You can't just walk through it without paying attention." Lyra's head tilted slightly, curiosity peeking through their exhaustion. "Time weirdness?" "They shift. Paths that were open a minute ago might close the next. Walls might move. You have to watch your step and trust your instincts." Ryder motioned to the winding canyon ahead. "We should move. There's a safe chamber a few clicks from here. That's where we can figure out what to do next." Lyra nodded, wincing slightly. Ryder helped them to their feet, supporting their weight. Step by careful step, they moved deeper into the labyrinth of rock and sand. The twin suns were starting to dip toward the horizon, painting the cliffs in deeper shades of red. Shadows grew long, and the desert seemed alive with soft whispers carried on the wind. For Ryder, it was the start of another long day on Zephyr 7. For Lyra, it was the first time in many cycles that someone had shown them kindness without fear, without force. And for both, it was a beginning that neither fully understood yet, an uneasy partnership forged under twin suns in a desert that refused to stay silent. As they walked, Ryder kept one hand lightly on his device, ready if the crystal reacted again. Lyra walked beside him, silent but watching every shimmer of light and shadow. The canyon was dangerous, yes, but there was also beauty in the jagged lines, in the way the wind carved patterns across the sand. And Ryder knew one thing for certain. Sometimes being a cowboy in space was not about guns or fights. It was about courage, patience, and knowing when to whisper, "It'll be quick," even when nothing about the situation was easy. The sun sank lower. The canyon walls glowed softly. Ryder led the way and Lyra followed, step by careful step toward a safe chamber that promised answers, understanding, and perhaps a chance to heal fully. And for the first time since he had ridden into the canyon, Ryder felt a small, quiet hope that the frontier, for all its dangers, was not without kindness. The canyon grew darker as the twin suns sank behind jagged cliffs, leaving long, dancing shadows that seemed to move on their own. Ryder Calhoun and Lyra pressed forward, the soft hum of Ryder's mechanical horse echoing faintly against the canyon walls. The air smelled of warm sand and ozone, a strange combination that made the hairs on Ryder's arms stand on end. "This place, it feels alive," Lyra whispered, their voice barely audible over the wind. Their eyes, still pale silver, reflected the deep reds and golds of the canyon walls. Ryder nodded, his gaze scanning every curve and crevice. "You're not wrong," he said. "The canyon shifts. You'll see what I mean soon enough." They had barely walked 100 steps when the first oddity occurred. A section of the canyon wall, smooth and red, seemed to shimmer slightly like heat rising off the sand. Ryder slowed, stepping carefully over the uneven ground. As he approached, the shimmer pulsed and then vanished, revealing a narrow passage that had not been there moments ago. "See?" Ryder said, glancing at Lyra. "The walls, they move?" "You have to trust your instincts, not just your eyes." Lyra swallowed hard, gripping the strap of their cloak. How do you know where to go?" Ryder smiled faintly. "You don't. You feel it. You follow the rhythm. The canyon tests you, but it doesn't lie." They entered the narrow passage, stepping over small rocks and sand mounds. The walls were smooth, almost polished, and faint glyphs shimmered across the surface, glowing softly with an otherworldly light. Lyra reached out, fingers brushing the symbols. "There. Alive," Lyra whispered. "I can feel them, like they're breathing." "Something ancient left this place. Long before any of us. Probably before your people or mine. It's not dangerous if you respect it. Just don't panic." The passage curved sharply, and Ryder motioned for Lyra to follow closely. The mechanical horse's hooves made a soft metallic clang that echoed, creating strange patterns of sound against the walls. For a moment, Ryder felt dizzy, as if the echoes were twisting reality itself. "Focus on me," he said. "Keep your mind on your steps." Lyra nodded, though their breathing was shallow. The crystal on their arm, now contained safely in Ryder's device, glowed faintly. Ryder could sense the energy pulsing, like a tiny heartbeat, reacting to every movement in the canyon. Suddenly, the floor beneath them seemed to shift. A faint rumble passed through the rock, and the shadows stretched and bent in impossible directions. Ryder steadied himself, placing a hand on the wall for balance. "Easy," he muttered. "This is normal here. Don't fight it, just move with it." Lyra stumbled slightly but caught themselves, gripping Ryder's arm for support. It's like the canyon is alive," they said, voice trembling. "I can feel it moving under me." "That's exactly it," Ryder said. "It's alive in a way we don't fully understand, but it's not trying to hurt us. Not if we respect it." They continued deeper, winding through the labyrinth of walls that shifted subtly, passages that seemed to appear and disappear at random. The canyon floor occasionally gave way to hidden pits, shallow enough to trip over but deep enough to cause a nasty fall. Ryder carefully guided Lyra over each obstacle, using his device to light the path when the glow from the crystal dimmed. After what felt like hours, they reached a small chamber tucked into the heart of the canyon. The walls were lined with strange alien machinery, softly humming with energy. Ryder approached one console, brushing dust off a series of etched panels. "This is it," he said. "The safe chamber. If the crystal reacts again, this is where it can be fully stabilized." Lyra sank to the ground, exhaustion catching up. I didn't think I'd make it here. I thought I'd be stuck in the canyon forever." "You're tougher than you think," Ryder said, helping them to their feet. "Besides, you've got a good guide." He smiled faintly. "A cowboy in the stars." The chamber was quiet, but the hum of the machinery made the air feel alive, almost electric. Ryder carefully placed the device on a flat platform at the center of the room. The crystal floated gently above it, pulsing softly. Lyra stared, mesmerized. "It's beautiful. But it's more than that. It holds memories, energy, maybe even part of your life force. That's why it hurt so much when it was stuck to you." "My life force?" "Yeah," Ryder said gently. "I've seen things like this before. The crystal doesn't just store energy, it stores part of you. That's why it hurts so much. Removing it too quickly could have been dangerous." Lyra shivered, looking down at their arm. "And you didn't hurt me?" "Nope," Ryder said with a faint grin. "You trusted me, and I trusted the canyon and the device. That's all it took." The chamber hummed louder suddenly, and Ryder felt a strange vibration in his boots. The air shimmered, and for a brief moment he felt as if he were standing somewhere else entirely. The walls of the chamber seemed to ripple like water. "Ryder, what's happening?" Lyra asked, eyes wide. "Time plays tricks here," Ryder said quietly. "The canyon, it remembers. It shows echoes of the past sometimes. Don't be scared. Just watch." The shimmer in the air solidified into faint, ghost-like images. Ryder saw flashes of alien figures, long gone, moving among the machinery. He saw Lyra, but younger, surrounded by others of their kind, laughing and playing under twin moons on their homeworld. He saw moments of joy, sorrow, and everything in between, all captured somehow in the energy of the canyon. "It's memories," Lyra whispered, tears forming. "All the things I lost, it's here." Ryder nodded, placing a comforting hand on their shoulder. "Yeah, the canyon keeps them safe. Maybe that's why the crystal bonded to you. It was trying to protect you." They stood together in silence, letting the chamber's hum and the canyon's whispers fill the room. The crystal floated above the device, glowing steadily, no longer pulsing in panic. Ryder could feel the tension drain from Lyra's body, and he finally allowed himself to relax. "You've been through a lot," Ryder said, "but you made it here. That's what matters." Lyra smiled faintly, still shaky. I don't know how to thank you." Ryder shrugged, leaning against the console. "You don't need to. Just survive. That's all I ask." They spent the next hour exploring the chamber, marveling at the alien technology. Ryder showed Lyra how the device worked, carefully explaining how it extracted the crystal's energy without causing harm. Lyra listened intently, fascinated, even asking questions about how humans had developed such machines. "It's strange," Lyra said finally. "I always thought humans only cared about profit, or war, or conquest. But you care about helping. without expecting anything. Ryder chuckled softly. You get used to it. Some of us do things just because it's right. Out here, in the frontier, you learn that life's short and harsh. If you can help someone, you do it. Lyra nodded slowly, their eyes reflecting the soft glow of the crystal. I think I'd like to travel with you for a while, they said quietly. If you don't mind. Ryder raised an eyebrow, surprised. You sure about that? This canyon isn't exactly easy on anyone, not even cowboys. I'm sure, Lyra said, determination flickering in their voice. I want to see more, learn more, and maybe not be afraid of pain anymore. Ryder smiled faintly, a rare warmth in his eyes. All right then. We'll take it one step at a time. But first, we need to rest. The canyon doesn't sleep, but we can try. They settled near the glowing crystal, watching the shadows shift and shimmer across the walls. Outside, the twin suns had set completely, leaving only the soft light of distant stars and the gentle hum of the chamber. For the first time since entering the canyon, Lyra felt safe, and Ryder felt something he hadn't in a long time. Quiet satisfaction, knowing that out here, in the desert of Zypher, 7 kindness could survive, even amidst ancient mysteries and shifting sands. As they drifted toward rest, Ryder whispered softly to himself, almost like a promise, We'll make it through. One step at a time, one day at a time. Outside the chamber, the canyon whispered back, carrying the promise on the wind. The chamber was quiet except for the soft hum of the crystal device. Ryder and Lyra sat cross-legged on the smooth floor, watching the floating gem pulse with gentle light. Outside, the canyon was silent now, bathed in the soft glow of distant stars, but inside, the air seemed alive, as if the walls themselves were listening. I can't believe it, Lyra whispered, eyes fixed on the crystal. I've carried this part of me for so long. And you freed me. Ryder shrugged, running a hand over the device. Not me. The canyon helped. It wanted to help you, I think. I just guided it. Silver eyes wide. But why would the canyon care? Why would anything care? Ryder tilted his head, considering. Sometimes the frontier surprises you. Things that seem cold or empty can have a heartbeat. You just have to find it. For a few moments, silence settled between them. Then, slowly, the crystal pulsed brighter. Ryder instinctively placed his hand over the console. The light spread in soft waves, filling the chamber, and suddenly, images shimmered in the air like holograms. Lyra gasped, stepping back slightly. It's showing memories. Ryder nodded. He asked, That crystal, it doesn't just hold energy. It stores experiences, feelings, your life, your past. The first vision came clearly. A lush planet under twin moons, silver-leaved trees swaying in the wind. Lyra's younger self ran through fields, laughing with others of their kind. Ryder recognized the scene from the stories Lyra had whispered before, the home they had lost, the life they had been forced to leave behind. I remember this, Lyra whispered, voice trembling. This is my home, my family. The vision shifted, showing flashes of loss, collapsing buildings, glowing energy storms, and terrified figures running for safety. Lyra covered their face, sobbing softly. Ryder stayed quiet, giving them space but keeping a steady hand near the device, ready to stabilize it if the energy reacted. It's okay, Ryder said gently. You're safe here. None of that can hurt you now. Lyra peeked through trembling fingers, watching as the crystal replayed more memories. Moments of joy, of friendship, of discovery, and the painful moments of separation and fear. Ryder could see how deeply the crystal was tied to Lyra, storing not just energy, but the very essence of their life. Why didn't anyone help me before? Lyra asked, voice breaking. I was stuck, in pain, alone. Sometimes the frontier is lonely. But it doesn't mean no one can help. It just takes someone willing to step in. Lyra's eyes glistened, and for a moment they seemed to shrink into themselves. Ryder squeezed their shoulder lightly. You've survived this long. That's strength. That's something a lot of folks never see. The visions continued, shifting to strange, alien landscapes Ryder had never seen before. Floating cities made of crystal, rivers of glowing liquid, and creatures that shimmered in shapes too complex for his mind. Lyra whispered explanations quietly, pointing out landmarks, naming distant relatives, and telling stories of adventures Ryder could barely imagine. I didn't think anyone could understand, Lyra admitted. Not anymore. But now you do, even if only a little. Ryder nodded, studying the images. It's a lot to take in, but it's also a gift. Memories, they teach you who you are, even the painful ones. Lyra swallowed and nodded. Yes, even the painful ones. After a while, the chamber dimmed as the vision slowed, leaving only the soft glow of the crystal. Ryder exhaled quietly, feeling a calm settle over the room. Lyra looked at him, eyes wide with a mixture of awe and gratitude. Ryder, Lyra said softly, can we keep going? I want to see more. Learn more. About my people. And about this place. Ryder smiled faintly. All right, but we need to be careful. The canyon isn't done with us yet. There are puzzles ahead, tests we'll have to figure out. They moved deeper into the chamber, discovering more consoles, glowing glyphs, and floating platforms that hummed softly. Ryder guided Lyra through each step, showing them how to activate panels and interact with the ancient technology. Lyra was quick to learn, their natural curiosity shining through despite exhaustion. Look at this, Lyra said, pointing to a panel that displayed a series of moving symbols. It's like a story, a history. Probably records of the canyon's builders, the ones who left all this behind. They were smart. But they didn't leave instructions, just puzzles. You have to think in patterns, not words. They worked together, deciphering glyphs, pressing glowing buttons, and solving small puzzles that activated soft lights and gentle hums. The crystal floated beside them, almost guiding their hands, pulsing softly whenever they succeeded. You're good at this, Ryder said. Better than most cowboys I've seen. Lyra smiled faintly. I guess I've had a lot of practice surviving. Hours seemed to pass in what felt like minutes. The chamber glowed softly, the alien machinery responding to their teamwork. Ryder realized that, more than anything, this was a test of patience, trust, and understanding, not strength or violence. Eventually, they reached a central platform where the crystal began to pulse more rapidly, projecting a large, shimmering map of the canyon. Ryder studied it closely. This shows paths we didn't know existed, he said. Some of them are safe, some not so much. But if we follow this, we can explore the rest of the canyon without getting lost. It's beautiful, all these paths, like veins of light running through the desert. Ryder nodded, and we'll follow them together, step by step, one at a time. For the first time since they had entered the canyon, Ryder felt a strange sense of calm. The desert had tested them, shown them visions of the past, and yet they had survived, learned, and grown. Lyra, once trembling and afraid, now stood taller, eyes shining with determination and wonder. You've changed, Ryder said quietly, half to himself. Not just surviving, but learning, seeing, understanding. That's rare out here. Lyra smiled faintly. I've changed. Because someone cared enough to guide me, to help me face my own memories. Ryder nodded, feeling a rare warmth in his chest. Sometimes quick doesn't mean easy. But it can mean right. The crystal floated between them, pulsing gently as if in agreement. Ryder reached out, resting a hand on it, feeling the energy calm and steady beneath his touch. Lyra mirrored him, their fingers brushing the soft glow. For a moment the two stood side by side, connected by trust, courage, and the strange living energy of the canyon. You think there's more to see? Lyra asked. Definitely, Ryder said, glancing at the winding paths projected above the platform. But we take it slow. No rush. The canyon doesn't mind waiting, and neither should we. They settled near the crystal again, sitting quietly as the chamber hummed softly around them. Outside the canyon whispered on the wind, carrying echoes of long-forgotten lives and the faint pulse of the stars above. Ryder felt a quiet certainty settle over him. No matter how lonely or dangerous the frontier, there was always a way forward, always a chance for understanding, connection, and hope. Lyra leaned slightly against Ryder, exhaustion finally overtaking the tension that had gripped them all day. Thank you, they whispered. For everything. Ryder smiled faintly, glancing at the soft glow of the crystal. You don't need to thank me. Just keep moving forward. That's all any of us can do. Outside the chamber, the canyon remained silent, but its energy seemed lighter somehow, as if acknowledging their progress. Inside, Ryder and Lyra rested, side by side, ready to face whatever mysteries the canyon might reveal next. The frontier was vast, dangerous, mysterious. But for the first time, Ryder felt it could also be a place of learning, connection, and quiet wonder. And with Lyra by his side, he felt ready for whatever came next. The chamber hummed softly, its walls glowing with gentle shifting light. Ryder Calhoun and Lyra sat side by side, watching the crystal float in its containment field, pulsing steadily. The canyon outside had fallen silent, the twin suns having long disappeared behind jagged cliffs. Only distant stars illuminated the sky, casting a pale glow across the desert. "This is it," Ryder said quietly, running a hand over the device. "Once we stabilize it completely, everything you've carried, your memories, your energy, it'll be safe." Fully. Lyra looked at the crystal, their silver eyes reflecting its soft glow. I don't know if I'm ready," they admitted. "So much of my life, it's all in there. What if I lose something important?"
You won't lose anything. It's not about losing.
"It's about freeing it, letting the canyon and the crystal work together. You'll still be you. Stronger, maybe, because you'll finally understand what it's holding." Lyra took a deep breath and nodded, a mixture of fear and trust in their expression. "God, okay," they whispered. "Let's do it!" Ryder activated the device fully. The crystal floated higher, glowing brighter than it had before, radiating soft waves of energy that filled the chamber. Lyra stepped closer, their hand hovering over the light. The pulsing grew faster at first, then began to slow, rhythmic like a heartbeat. "Feel that?" Ryder asked. "That's the canyon and the crystal, working together. You just need to stay calm, let it flow." Lyra closed their eyes and nodded. They could feel warmth spreading through them, a gentle energy that wrapped around their arm where the crystal had once been fused. It was not painful, but intense, as if the canyon itself was brushing away every shadow of fear, every trace of the pain they had carried for so long. Ryder watched carefully, adjusting the device's controls. The hum of the machinery blended with the pulsing energy of the crystal, creating a soothing rhythm. For a moment the canyon seemed to breathe with them, its walls glowing softly, the shadows dancing in harmony with the light. Then the crystal began to project images once more. Unlike before, these were not just memories of the past. They were visions of possibilities. The life Lyra could have now, the paths they could choose, the moments they could live fully. Ryder saw it too, glimpses of distant planets, alien cities bathed in starlight, and strange creatures moving gracefully through glowing forests. "It's showing me the future?" Lyra whispered, eyes wide with wonder. "Not exactly," Ryder said. "It's showing you what could be. All the ways you can live, all the choices you can make, now that you're free from the pain it held." Lyra's eyes filled with tears, but this time they were not tears of fear. They were tears of relief and hope. "I never thought I'd see this." "I never thought I could feel free." Ryder smiled faintly. Freedom's funny that way. Sometimes it's about letting go, not taking anything away. You've held on to a lot of pain, Lyra. It's time to let it go. The crystal pulsed one last time, bright and steady, and then slowly began to settle onto the platform. Its glow softened, gentle and calm. Ryder approached and deactivated the device, letting the energy settle completely. Lyra stepped forward and touched the crystal lightly. It was cool now, almost lifeless, but in the best way possible. "It's done?" Lyra asked softly. Ryder nodded. "Done. You're free, and so is the crystal. It's safe now. No more pain, no more fear." Lyra's lips curved into a small smile, and for the first time since Ryder had met them, they laughed softly. I don't even know how to say thank you." "You don't need to," Ryder said. That's thanks enough." They spent a few quiet moments in the chamber, letting the calm energy of the crystal wash over them. Outside, the desert began to glow faintly with the first hints of dawn. Ryder stood, brushing dust from his coat. "We should move," he said. "There's a view you have to see." Lyra followed, still leaning slightly on Ryder for support. They walked to the edge of the canyon, where the walls opened to reveal the vast expanse of the desert. The twin suns were rising, painting the sands in soft gold and pink, the shadows of jagged cliffs stretching long and serene across the dunes. "It's beautiful," Lyra whispered, their eyes shining. "I've never seen anything like it." Ryder nodded, feeling the quiet satisfaction of a job well done. "The frontier's full of beauty," he said. "You just have to know where to look." For a while they stood together, watching the light stretch across the desert. The mechanical horse trailed behind them, soft hisses of steam and pistons punctuating the quiet morning air. Lyra reached out and touched Ryder's arm lightly. "Ryder, will you stay with me for a little while?" they asked. Ryder chuckled softly. "I don't go anywhere without good reason. And right now, you're good reason enough." Lyra smiled, the tension in their shoulders relaxing for the first time in many cycles. They turned their gaze back to the horizon, letting the light of the rising suns fill them with warmth. "Do you think we'll find other places like this?" Lyra asked. "Other crystals? Other memories?" "Maybe," Ryder said, glancing at the canyon. "The frontier is full of mysteries. Some we'll find, some we won't. But every step we take, we learn. That's the real treasure." They watched in silence as the suns climbed higher, painting the desert with light. The canyon behind them no longer seemed threatening. It felt alive, yes, but friendly. It had tested them, shown them pain, and revealed hope. Ryder knew that many travelers would fear this place, but he also knew that those willing to face it with courage and kindness would discover something extraordinary. I feel like I can start again," Lyra said softly, looking at Ryder. "Like I'm not just surviving, but living." "That's the point," Ryder said. "The frontier doesn't just take, it gives. You just have to be brave enough to accept it." Lyra smiled, taking a deep breath of the warm desert air. "I'm ready," they said. "Ready to see more, learn more, and maybe even help someone else someday." Ryder's lips curved into a small smile. "That's good, because the frontier always needs more people willing to help." They mounted the mechanical horse together, Ryder guiding it carefully down the canyon path. Lyra's hand rested lightly on Ryder's, a silent promise of trust and partnership. The canyon walls glimmered softly behind them, as if acknowledging their passage. As they rode toward the open desert, the twin suns climbing higher, Ryder glanced at Lyra and said softly, almost to himself, "Sometimes quick doesn't mean easy. But it can mean right, and that's enough." Lyra nodded, feeling a warmth in their chests they hadn't felt in cycles. The crystal, now stable and safe, glowed faintly within Ryder's device, a silent reminder of their journey, the memories they had faced, and the hope they had found together. The canyon faded behind them, replaced by endless dunes stretching into the distance. The desert was vast, mysterious, and full of possibility. Ryder and Lyra rode on, side by side, ready to face whatever the frontier might reveal next. For the first time in a long time, Ryder felt a quiet peace. The canyon had tested them. The crystal had revealed the past, and together they had survived. But more than survival, they had found understanding, connection, and hope. And in the soft light of the dawn, Ryder knew the frontier, harsh, lonely, and full of secrets, could also be a place of beginnings. He nudged the mechanical horse forward, glancing at Lyra. "Ready for the next adventure?" Lyra's silver eyes sparkled in the light of the rising suns. "I've never been more ready." Together they rode into the desert, leaving behind the chamber, the crystal, and the canyon that had tested them. Ahead lay endless possibilities, and for the first time, the future felt wide open and full of light. Strange, mysterious. But with courage, trust, and friendship, Ryder and Lyra knew they could face it all. And in that moment, the desert didn't seem so lonely anymore.